sports coverage of the National Football League. Brings us to Indianapolis, Indiana, where they fire up the crowd with the striking of the anvil as it's time for football at Lucas Oil Stadium. Coming up, we've got a good one in store. It's the Denver Broncos and the Indianapolis Colts. On the Denver sideline, you get a look at their head coach. His guys got the season started on the right foot, a home victory in the season opener. On the other sideline, the Colts head coach, Shane Steichen. His guys, on the other hand, couldn't pull one out last week in the opener, so they're looking for their first win at home here in Week 2. Cameron Dicker has the ball teed up as we get underway. Off we go from downtown Indianapolis. And he'll work this one past the 25 to right about the 28-yard line. Out come the Colts, and they are led by their big quarterback who's trying to find his way in the NFL. Year 3 for Anthony Richardson out of Florida.
Going back and looking at last week's tape, just a little too up and down for my liking. It's hard to win consistently in the NFL, Mike, with your quarterback having good plays, bad plays, good weeks, bad weeks. You want to just level all of that out. Maybe you lose some of the highs, but you prevent some of the lows. And when he was good, he was really good. But when he was bad, those are the back-breaking plays that really are hard to overcome if you want to win consistently in this league. You talk about a big-time run right out of the gate. I mean, there was nothing special here play call-wise. He just found a crease, hit it, and he was off.
On first down, they'll stay with Taylor on the ground. Not much there, maybe a yard. You get a look there at his numbers on the ground from a week ago.
At the 29-yard line.
Here's a 2nd and 9 now from the 29. Out of the shotgun, Richardson. And he'll just bite the bullet and throw this one away. That was a good idea. Didn't force anything there. But now it's going to bring up 3rd down.
9 yards to go.
From the gun, Richardson. The pass rush gets home, and he goes down. Jonah Ellis. He gets in to drop him for his first sack of the young season.
The defensive coaches, they preached all week, Mike. They have to have relentless pursuit of this quarterback when he tries to extend the play. So often it results in a great play for the offense and a big pickup. This time, because of that pursuit, it leads to a big loss.
So, on 4th down, the Colts send out Rigoberto Sanchez to punt. The Broncos have Marvin Mims out for the return. And that's going to work out well. Out of bounds, and they mark it inside the 5-yard line. So the Broncos come out, and Greg, they are led by their QB of the future. Found their guy with the 6th quarterback selection in the 2024 draft. 2nd season now for Bo Nix.
This league is so often described, Mike, as a passing league, and performances last week are a big reason why. Not only his ability to rack up a ton of yards, but to have 3 touchdowns to go with it. And even though it's not as rare as maybe it used to be, I think we have to be careful that we don't take that type of production for granted. It's going to be a hard team to beat if he's able to continue to produce at this rate.
On 2nd down, it's Nix. The open man is Reed. He's got it. And that's a first down. It will be a gain of 8.
One of the easiest ways to negate these really good pass rushes in the NFL, Mike, is just to simply get the ball out of the quarterback's hand as fast as possible. And sometimes it's by design, sometimes it's based on need. But really nice job there by the quarterback, getting into the hands of his receiver and then see what he can do after the catch.
And that is really well read defensively. They get him down back at the 9-yard line.
Well, the best screenplays, of course, you want the offensive lineman out in front of the running back. They act as his escort, his lead blockers. But what you can't afford is for the defenders to be in the backfield and get to the running back, because those offensive linemen, they can't help him at all.
Second down, Nix. Open man downfield, that's Ingram. And he's taken down up past the 35. That one good for 26 yards. So, from the 36, it is 1st and 10. From the shotgun, here's Nix. And he's close to another 1st down. He's brought down just shy of the marker. An enviable spot to operate from. Here's 2nd and inches.
At the 46-yard line.
On the ground, former Notre Damer Kyron Williams. And he'll work his way for about 4 yards. And that's good enough for a 1st down. With that, I want to give you a look at his numbers on the ground in last week's game. They'll come up here, 1st and 10. Working out of the gun, it's Nix. Left side, that's complete, it's Sutton. And they'll move this one down inside the 40-yard line. 11 yards on the pass there. Good for a Denver 1st down. Back to throw is Nix. He goes right back to Sutton. And they bring him down inside the 25-yard line. Number 14 with a pickup of 14. And a 1st down.
Broncos 1st down.
Just a really good play design that time, Mike, from the offensive coordinator. They match up one of the most explosive playmakers in the NFL with a hook curl defender, and he's just not able to match up with one of the best route runners in the league.
And he's trying to get around the corner, but will not. Brought down. That's a loss on the play. Last play went the wrong way. It sets up 2nd and long. It's 2nd down and 12. On the handoff, it is Williams running to the right. And they'll stop it. At least it's an improvement over the last play. They're not losing yards, but they didn't gain any here. And now it's going to be 3rd down. Nix from the gun on 3rd down. This one is caught by Reed. And a good job here defensively. They did not let him get away. He's well short of the 1st down mark.
I think this is one of those plays that when the ball carrier watches this back in the film room tomorrow, he's going to be a little frustrated with himself. If he could just have made that one guy miss, he picks up the 1st down. Instead, he gets brought down short of the sticks, and now they got a 4th down decision to make.
Nix gonna throw for it. Cortland Sutton. Touchdown, Broncos. It's his 2nd touchdown of the year. The teamwork was just ideal there. Greg, we don't see practice all week, but we see it pay off in the game.
And when you have a wide receiver, Mike, that can operate near the sideline, it just increases the amount of space that quarterback has to work with. He knows that he can put that ball maybe a little bit further away from the defender, knowing he's got the guy on the other end to not only secure the catch.
And of course, all scoring plays are reviewed. So replay's going to take a look at this one and make sure it is good for 6. And we'll get a moment here as they look this one over. Remember, the call on the field is what they'll stick with unless they have clear incontrovertible visual evidence to the contrary. In other words, it's got to be the truth. So, ruled a touchdown originally. They didn't find any reason to overturn it, and it stays on the board. Dicker, good with the extra point. And the Broncos will take a 7-0 lead. After the touchdown, here's Dicker out to send this one away. Khalil Herbert to return. He'll get this past the 20 before he's brought down shy of the 25-yard line. The Colts offense ready to get going with their second possession. Greg, it's one of those weird feelings you build all year for the opener. You play a tight game and lose. It kind of changes the feeling coming into this week a little bit.
Yeah, it certainly does, and if you're not careful, what's that cardinal rule? You don't want one loss to turn into two, one bad play to turn into two. The best teams in this league, they have an uncanny ability that regardless, good or bad, blowout or close one from the previous week before, it doesn't lead into the next week's work and ultimately the next week's game. So we'll find out, were they able to learn from the good? And there certainly was a lot of it. But can they move forward today and not let the disappointment of last week trickle into today?
They'll come up 1st and 10 at the 40. Richardson will give it to Taylor. Taylor loses the football. The Broncos say they have it, and yes, they do.
And as you can see with that fumble, Mike, it really just goes back to the fundamentals of how they're taught to carry the ball. And they talk about the points of pressure. And the biggest thing really, Mike, is you want the front tip of the ball, the part where your fingers cover, to always be higher than the back tip of the ball. So often you see that front tip go down, and it makes it so much easier for that defender to kind of rake it out. So you want pressure against the outside of the ball, both tips, the inside of the ball, and then keep that front point up.
The Broncos in possession of the football to begin the second quarter. They have it 2nd and 4 coming up. Here comes Williams on the toss to the right. And he'll get about 4 out of that one. That should be enough to move the chains. It is 1st down.
A 4-yard pickup on the play. 1st down, Broncos.
Throwing. Nix. Here's a screen set up to Williams. Now they are in business. Inside the 15-yard line. Give him 13 on that screen play. And a 1st down. To throw is Nix. They'll try to set up the screen here. And they'll get about 4 here as he is taken down.
Just a little slow developing on that screenplay there. It was pretty obvious to the entire defense exactly what was going on. Nobody was thinking pass. Nobody was getting back into their drops, and just nowhere for that back to go.
No dice there. He is met and tackled behind the line of scrimmage.
So much of what makes a toss play so good is it allows you to get the ball on the perimeter of the defense really quickly, and it doesn't stress all of your backside blocking. But on the downside, it does get your running back running east and west. They're running sideways for the first couple steps, and with a defense that can run to the ball, we're able to get you down for a loss.
And the Broncos are going to have a 1st and goal coming up as the tackle's made here at the 3-yard line.
1st and goal at the 3-yard line.
thing that jumps out to me the most, Mike, is just how often the quarterback is able to throw the ball to his first read in the progression. So hats off to the play caller. Him and the quarterback seeing the game through the exact same set of eyes, and there is a lot of room to operate.
And he is going the wrong way. Tackled back at the 7.
A loss was definitely not something they had accounted or budgeted for in this spot. And now, I think it really limits what do you feel comfortable dialing up here on 2nd and goal.
Now from the 7, it's 2nd and goal. Throwing is Nix. That's hauled in at the 2. And he's so close to the goal line. Couldn't get that ball extended. They keep him out, and it sets up 3rd and goal. They'll throw. It's Nix. That's going to be broken up in the end zone. Incomplete. There was no space to fit that one in. And now here comes 4th and goal. On 4th down, here's Nix. And this is off. Wow, the decision to go pays off. Evan Ingram. Touchdown, Denver. Greg, it's the quarterback's best friend, and you were that guy for a lot of years. The tight end in a tight area with man coverage.
Yeah, and it's really twofold, Mike, right? First and foremost, we see so many of these tight ends around the league that now have gotten to the point where one-on-one matchups, that's advantage offense. But then even in the cases they don't create great separation, Mike, it's their size, their catch radius. It's such a friendly target for the quarterback that when things get tight in the red zone, they look to the tight end.
Dicker, good with the extra point. The Broncos move out on top, 14-0.
Cameron Dicker to kick off.
After the touchdown, here's Dicker out to send this one away. Khalil Herbert on the return. He's across the 20, taken down just shy of the 25.
The Colts take over.
Here's Jonathan Taylor and the Colts offense heading back for their next possession. Greg, when you look at the AFC South, there's an appreciation for what the Houston Texans have done. A couple of different quarterbacks, a couple of different head coaches. They've really been the team over the last several years that has been the team to beat in this division. And for the others, there's been moments. The question is, what pieces can they put together to try to knock Houston off the top?
Yeah, and you know, nobody wants to be in a rebuild, right, Mike? Your coach got fired probably for a reason. You're drafting at the top of the draft order for a reason.
That's over the middle and intercepted. Picked off by Patrick Surtain.
They'll take over 1st and 10 at the 29-yard line.
You know, Mike, drastically different things waiting for these two squads on the sideline as they run off. I mean, we can hear the defensive sideline celebrating all the way up here. I mean, back-to-back drives, they come away with the takeaway. Now, on the offensive sideline, there's no celebration awaiting. It's coaches looking to gather their guys together and say, look, we've got to have ball security. If we don't protect the football, we have no chance.
The Broncos offense getting those helmets back on, ready to head out for their next possession. Greg, you take a step back and look at the AFC West big picture. This is historic stuff. Chiefs are going for a 10th straight division title, but you have to remember, two other teams in this division won double-digit games last year. So the question is, are the Chargers and the Broncos that far behind Kansas City?
Yeah, it sounds crazy. When you mentioned 9 in a row, you think, oh, they're just going to continue to run away with it. But I'm actually fascinated by this division. I think LA and Denver are a lot closer to this year's version of Kansas City, maybe than there's a lot of talk about around the rest of the league. So until someone beats them, you'd be crazy to not pick Kansas City. But last year it was a 4-game and a 5-game spread between them. I think this year, come down the stretch, that spread is going to be a lot tighter.
No, Greg, I'm thinking if I'm a fan or even in the front office for the Chargers, or the Broncos, or the Raiders, do I build my team to try to knock off the king of the hill? Because you only play Kansas City 2 of those 17 games. So how do you factor that into your construction?
Yeah, I think it's such a great point. It's really fascinating to dive into, and while I wouldn't necessarily build my roster to just beat Kansas City or to just beat or whoever you view as the top team in the division, you do want to find some commonalities among your 3 division opponents and make sure you are built to play within your division. Remember, that's 6 of the 17 now. Winning the division, you get you home playoff games. There's a lot on the line when you win your division and compete for that title. So, yes, every team has to build their roster. If you have a bunch of really good quarterbacks, you better be able to rush the passer and play pass coverage. If you're playing a lot of ground and pound, big running backs, you better be really good on the inside in defense and be able to defend the run. So there's themes across every division, and the teams that are built to compete within the division are usually the teams that find themselves in the playoffs.
The Colts offense getting things in order as they trot out for this next possession. Well, Greg, it will be a very busy stretch for the passports. A lot of international games to look forward to. 7-0 outside the U.S. Chiefs and Chargers last week in Sao Paulo. Great ones to follow. Vikings and Steelers in Dublin. Vikings in London playing the Browns the very next week. Broncos and Jets. Rams and Jags. They'll also play in London week 6 and 7. The Falcons and the Colts are going to be in Germany in week 10. And then the Commanders and Dolphins wrap up the international slate. That's in Madrid, week 11. Greg, this has been such an additive part to the NFL season, all of these international games.
Yeah, I can tell you, Mike, having played one of the international games towards the end of my career in London, when I played for Carolina, it's a great experience. It's fun for the players, it's fun for the coaches, it's fun for the fans and the families. So I expect this slate to continue to expand. There's so many fun international cities around the world that love NFL football.
And from what you hear, there's more to come. We could be at the point someday, very soon. DJ Jones in there to bring him down. And that's his first sack of the year.
In what's been a pretty one-sided affair from the opening whistle, it just seems like it continues to get worse. This defense, they know they have them on the edge, and they continue to rush the quarterback the way they are. I'm not sure what this offense can do come the second half.
2 minutes to go here till halftime. We'll come back to Indianapolis after this.
Let's go now.
Throwing on second down, Richardson. Open man, that's Alec Pierce. And that's a good gain there. It's going to wind up just a couple of yards shy of that first down. He'll try to run for it.
Give him credit for keeping this play alive as long as he could. This easily could have gone down for a loss, but he's kind of able to find his way forward and at least get back to the line of scrimmage.
Here's Rigoberto Sanchez now. He's on for the second time. He'll try to get something inside the 10. And not the greatest of results here. This is going to hit in the field of play and continue out of bounds. The Broncos offense ready to take over once more. You know, Greg, as we get the season going, obviously the adjustment to last year's new kickoff rules in place. We talked to a lot of coaches during the year. Folks didn't seem too bothered about letting the other team have the ball at the 30-yard line after a touchback. But the 35-yard line, I don't know, does that feel any different to you?
You know, it does, and I think the part that people don't talk about enough, Mike, is the impact that it's making on going forward on fourth down, not settling for field goals. Because remember, in the old days, if you got stopped inside the 5 or you scored inside the 5, it was all the difference of how they kicked the touchback, they got the ball at the 20. There wasn't that much of a spread, but now all of a sudden, is it in my best interest to settle for a field goal and kick off when I could give you the ball at the 35? Or even if I fail down there tight in the red zone on the 3, you didn't possess the ball inside your own 5-yard line. So I think that's an element now that's causing offenses to go for more touchdowns, kick less field goals, because the ensuing kickoff is giving my opponent the ball in much more favorable territory.
You know, the other rule that is adjusted are overtimes in the regular season will mirror playoff overtime, each team getting the ball. I'm so happy, Greg, because I just felt so incomplete when a team got to overtime, but then their offense, which may be the best part of the team, never got on the field.
Yeah, and I couldn't agree more. And you hear everyone saying, oh, well, just get a stop. Well, it's that legendary game between Mahomes and Josh Allen where neither team stopped it. It was just an offensive touchdown festival. So you won a coin toss, and you get the ball. Well, the other team's defense hadn't gotten a stop the whole game. If Josh Allen got the ball first, he probably would have scored on a walk-off. So I love the idea of both teams getting the ball. If a game is good enough to go to overtime, let's finish it. We don't need to be in a rush. There's no curfew. Let's let the guys finish it on the field. A lot more similar to how the regular game goes and not have significantly different game flow come overtime.
15. First down, Denver.
One final throw before the break. He's got it inside the 5. And they continue to be tough to stop. Chance to extend the lead even further as they are set up with 1st and goal. Now Nick's going to look to throw. And he'll take it on in. Evan Ingram. Touchdown, Broncos.
Touchdown, Denver.
That is 2nd touchdown of the afternoon.
And that's a bit of a gamble, but I really like the aggressive play call. Understanding here before the half, we don't want 3. We're trying to come away with 6, and he forgoes the field goal try. They take a shot in the end zone, and they come away with a touchdown.
Kicker now for the extra point. And the kick is good. So what a finish to this first half as they extend the lead.
All right, Mike, thanks very much. We enjoyed it so much last week, the EA folks said, hey, come back, let's do it again. So here we are, week 2. Let's get after it. Our look at the NFL starts now. In the Steel City, it's the Steelers at home to take on the Seahawks in a rematch of Super Bowl 40. And this is Jaylen Warren. This is going to end up a touchdown. Meanwhile, let's check in on the Dolphins as they play host to the New England Patriots. And it's Tua. He gets this one complete, 6-yard touchdown pass. The Dolphins are off to a good start, 2-0 on the young season. Lastly, let's go over to MetLife Stadium. The Jets taking on the Buffalo Bills. And it's last year's most valuable player, Josh Allen. He had it working. This one of 5 touchdown passes for the game. The Bills get their first win of the year, and they had to earn it, too. They get the road victory. We'll give you a look now at the remainder of the games in progress in the early window and what's still to come here in Week 2 of the National Football League regular season. Meanwhile, our game has not been all that competitive, a one-sided affair through 2 quarters. As we send you back out to our commentary team, Mike Tirico and Greg Olson.
Scott, thanks. I bet you it was 2 different, very different, in fact, halftime speeches from the head coaches as we get set for half number 2. On the return, here comes Marvin Mims. And he's down at the 23, and that's where the offense will take over. The Broncos offense, and Bo Nix getting ready to go back to work. And he has been a nightmare to scheme against throughout this one. This defense has been picked apart. That is borne out in those impressive numbers. He has been terrific all game long. They'll start this on the ground. It's Williams. Not much to speak of on that one. Maybe a gain of a yard. It's second down.
4-yard line. A gain of a yard brings up 2nd and 9.
Here's Nix to throw. He will air this out, looking for Sutton. It'll be taken down, but it takes them across midfield down to the 40-yard line. Take a look at his receiving numbers. So he has been terrific. Over 100 yards in this one. Set to go now on 1st and 10. Throwing now from the gun. And no chance to turn and go. That one good for just a couple. Here's a 2nd down and 7 from the 37.
At the 37-yard line.
Back to throw. Who else? Another catch for his favorite target. He'll get maybe 3 out of that one, and it's going to set up 3rd down. Here comes the blitz as he looks to throw. He's got his tight end. It's Ingram. And he is out of bounds down at the 21. He had 2 touchdowns earlier. Looking to see what he can do here in this second half. That grab gets them a 1st down. Back to the air one more time. There's that man again. Another catch. And he's in. Jaden Reed. Touchdown, Denver. That his first touchdown of the new year. That is yet another touchdown pass. What a game he is having, throwing his 4th touchdown score of the game.
It's one thing, Mike, to throw 4 touchdowns, but it's really the ease in which he's carved this defense up that has stood out the most. The defense has had no answers for this passing game, and he has just completely had his way with this group.
Dicker, good with the extra point. And the Broncos move out even further ahead. It is now 31-0. Hey, Scott, thank you. 2 very different halftime speeches, I would assume, by those head coaches as we get set for half number 2. Herbert on the return. And he's brought down right at the 25-yard line. The Colts offense getting ready for their opening possession of this second half. Well, Greg, as the season starts, really the season never ends. Think back to the schedule release. The draft has become this multi-day huge event. Green Bay crushed it with all the folks around the stadium in Lambeau, and some big names will be tied to that draft forever. A couple of the rookies that you've watched that are just sticking out in your mind, interested to see how they fit in the league as this season gets going.
Yeah, obviously so much attention around the quarterback position. And Cam Ward goes number 1, and then obviously with Shador and all the conversations around that as the draft unfolded. I think a guy that's going to be fun to watch when you talk about fit, I think you look at Ashton Genty. He gets drafted by Vegas. He's now with the Raiders. Pete Carroll. It kind of has the feel of, is he his Marshawn Lynch? Is he the bell cow back, under center, Geno Smith, play action, set up that run game, play good defense? This feels like the early path Pete Carroll took when he took over in Seattle and turned them into a Super Bowl champion. So I'm not saying Genty's Marshawn Lynch, but he certainly feels like that's the fit the Raiders were going for when they took him with their first-round pick.
Hey, let me ask you about Travis Hunter. Of course, the Heisman winner, Colorado, great play both sides of the ball as a receiver and a corner. You know, Greg, it's hard to come in this league and play well on one side of the ball. Is it realistic to think you may see him on both offense and defense?
Well, that's the million-dollar question, and I think to start, you have to say, okay, let's hang our hat on something. And I think when you look at the league, where is it harder to find impactful players? I believe it's harder to find impactful defensive backs. I think it's a harder position. I think the league favors the offense with the rules and the play style. So if I'm Jacksonville, I'm making Travis Hunter a defensive back on day one, and then I'm going to package my offensive plays around his skill set to take advantage of him as a wide receiver. And then as time goes on, it'll eventually unfold where he'll be able to have a role on both sides of the ball more consistently. So if I was in Jacksonville, that's what I would do. But I think it's going to be very interesting to see how fast and how big of a role on both sides they give Hunter early in his rookie year.
And that one not returnable, out of bounds right at the 20-yard line. Back onto the field comes the Denver offense. So, Greg, this offense comes on the road here in week 2. Look, road games are so hard in the NFL, but it's nice to hit the road coming off a win at home.
Yeah, absolutely. And again, it's amazing how winning creates more winning. It kind of has an ability to kind of build on itself. It's a snowball effect. So when you're winning, you're feeling good, everything works. And all of a sudden, you start losing and you start questioning everything about your approach. So the key in the NFL is win or lose, you're on to the next game. And it's the team's ability to start fresh every single week, regardless of the previous week's outcome. Those are the teams that find themselves in position of the playoffs down the stretch.
And he's going to be brought down up past the 45. A gain of 17 yards. First down, Broncos.
Nice job by them getting the back to the perimeter. Then he's able to get outside, stick his foot in the ground, and then get vertical. Right down the numbers. Those are the type of runs this offense wants to see more of going forward.
On first down, right back to Williams. This time they're ready for it. Room to run the last snap, not this one. They stop him for no gain.
When you look throughout this game, Mike, I don't think there's even a debate. This defensive line has clearly won the battle at the line of scrimmage over this offensive line. And for an offense that wants the run game to be such a critical element to its plan, they've got to do a better job because there's nowhere to run. There's no holes for the back to find. And all these zero or negative runs are putting them in some really bad spots.
Yards to go.
On third down, they'll set up to throw. And that is incomplete. Dayton Reed was the intended target. And it's going to lead to fourth down. And the Broncos bring out their punter. They'll kick it away. This will be returnable from his own 15. And good coverage by the punt team. They stop him before he can get any return cranked up. Here's the Indianapolis offense. Now as they get set to take over once more, they are in need of points in a big way as they set out on 1st and 10. And a nice run there. He'll get 8 to the 28-yard line.
He was brought down at the 28-yard line. Brings up
second and a yard. They go right back to tailgate. And that should be enough. He works his way forward to pick up a first down.
This offense, they're not interested in taking the deep shot here. Second and short, the way they're running the ball, pound the rock, reset the downs, and just keep the drive alive.
Richardson out quickly to Pittman. And he's going to be taken down as time runs out on this third quarter of play. Ball on the 30 now. Here's 2nd and 9. Fourth quarter commences. It's a run by Taylor. And he's bottled up after a gain of a yard.
So I think as you look back over the course of this game, it's really been the inability of this offense, Mike, to create any sort of balanced attack to get anything going. And whether you look at the rushing yards, whether you look at just the points scored, this offense has to find a way going forward to generate more big plays and more balance.
That's to the sideline. It is intercepted, but I don't think he was able to stay in bounds. And indeed, the officials concur. It is incomplete. Very nearly a turnover.
I think he predetermined that third down throw, and even though the coverage was tight, he still tried to fit the ball in there anyway, and it ended up falling incomplete. I think if he goes through his progressions and has a little bit more trust in his protection, I think there's an easier throw to make out there. You find yourself down big, it's the fourth quarter, there's really no choice but to go for this at this point. But once again, this defense, they're up to the task, and they come through yet again with a huge stop.
The Broncos offense and receiver Cortland Sutton ready to get going again. And it would appear they're on their way to a 2-0 start as they begin things here with 1st and 10 in this fourth quarter. From the shotgun, here's Nix. And he'll get about 8 on that one. Most of it coming after the catch. It's 2nd down. Terrific day throwing the ball, and the numbers now show it. Over 300 yards passing in this one. From the 23, here's 2nd and 1. Working out of the gun, it's Nix. That is going to be hauled in. He's got it. Cortland Sutton. Touchdown, Broncos. 2 touchdowns for him now on the afternoon. And another score in another good performance after winning the opener on their way to 2-0.
Mike, you can't be 2-0 without being 1-0, and for them to be able to continue to string early wins together in the first part of the year, this is the start that every team dreams about. This is what you work for all offseason long, to start your season and build some early momentum. Gives you a lot of flexibility and wiggle room as the rest of this season plays on.
After the touchdown, here's Dicker out to send this one away. Herbert on the return. Woo! He'll get across the 20, mark him down at the 23-yard line. The Colts offense headed back to take over once more. Things not looking good. But see if we get the turnaround going here. They'll start this drive with 1st down.
Come on.
From the gun, Richardson on the move left. He'll run again.
Well, let's give credit here to the coverage unit, Mike. There was nowhere to go with the ball for that quarterback. He had no choice but to just tuck it down himself, and he's able only to pick up a short gain.
Off the zone read, this is Richardson. And he wisely hit the deck at the end of that one. No unnecessary shot there. It is a 1st down.
Anthony Richardson, I mean, it's not hard to see why they want to get the ball in his hands as often as possible, both as a passer, but when you can get him as a designed runner.
Oh, they're running in a flash, and he lost the football. I believe the Colts were in there to retain possession. Yes, Indianapolis will hold on to the football.
And they should consider themselves lucky. You can't let a pass rusher through that quickly and not expect there to be consequences. Fortunately, they're at least able to fall on it and prevent this from being a complete disaster.
From the 48-yard line, here's 2nd and 7.
Let's go now. 60 by.
Richardson to throw. Quickly out to Downs on the receiver screen. Nothing doing there. He'll go down behind the line.
Certainly not how they drew it up for his first catch of the game, but he's on the board, and I think the hope is continue to go his way, and next time, let's try to pick up some yards.
Here we go, set.
Out of shotgun, Richardson. He'll take a deep shot for down. That's hard. And he's going to be brought down inside the 15. Down at the 12. It's 1st and 10.
Good for a Colts.
On the handoff, it's Taylor. And a nice gain there on first down. He takes it forward for 8 yards. Here's 2nd and 2.
Brings up 2nd and 2.
On the ground for the first time. This is Khalil Herbert. And this one ruined quickly. Take him back to the 5-yard line.
Looked like that might have been an RPO, a run-pass option. The quarterback has the ability to put the ball in the belly of the running back or pull it on the pass. Looked like he might have been better off pulling that one because he handed it off, and there was nowhere for that running back to go.
From the gun on 3rd down, Richardson. That is caught back corner of the end zone. Alex Pierce. Touchdown, Colts. Well, it's not going to be enough, but at least they find the end zone at the end of a hard week's work. At least will pay off with a touchdown, Greg.
Mike, you can just chalk this one up in the column of too little, too late. Give credit to this offense for not going down without a fight, but they're not going to have enough time to find themselves back in this one.
Broncos 38, Colts 7.
Both teams ready to go once more as the kick's away. On the return, here's Mims. And he is stopped at 25. The drive will begin there. The Broncos offense getting set to get back to work. This one appears to be safe in hand. It has been a clinical performance to this point. Now they'll try to finish up strong. From the 25, they'll go to work. 1st and 10. Drive begins with a run by Williams. And he'll get back to the line of scrimmage. That's about all. 2nd and 10.
No gain on the play. Brings up 2nd and 10. At the 25-yard line.
Throwing. Nix. Left side. That's complete. It's Sutton. He'll be brought down up past the 35-yard line. The defense just has not been able to keep him under wraps. Now 10 catches in the game. First and 10 now from the 36. Back to throw is Nix. That's caught left side by Ingram. And he'll be brought down just shy of midfield. His 5th catch of the afternoon. Good for a first down. First and 10. Throwing is Nix. Taken down rather swiftly after a gain of just 3. So 2 minutes left to play in the second half. Greg and I back on EA Sports after this. 2nd down, they need 7. To throw is Nix. The pressure there got to him. He was hit as he threw it. And that pass falls incomplete.
I think he knew in the back of his head, Mike, he had to get rid of this ball a little sooner than he would have liked. And with that pressure getting there in a hurry, it just ends up being a wasted down.
Nix from the gun on 3rd down. He will air this out, looking for Sutton. And that is incomplete. Cortland Sutton, the intended receiver. And that's going to lead to a 4th down.
Every so often, Mike, you can see these offenses, and it looks like the passing game gets a little bit too predictable. And as the defense continues to flood the back end of these zones with extra defenders, they're continuing to force this quarterback to not only make some difficult throws, but to put the ball in harm's way.
The Colts offense make their way out to take over once more. They'll begin with great field position, a short field, in fact, as they start with a 1st down. They'll run on 1st down with Taylor.
Well, they try to get the run game started here early on this drive, Mike, and they're just going to have to do a better job up front. There's really nowhere for this ball carrier to go. You never want to lose yards on first down, but that's exactly the case here.
After the loss of 3, it is 2nd and 13. That's complete to his running back, Taylor. And they're going to get this ball down to the 20-yard line.
It's a gain of 23 yards. That's good for a Colts.
On the give, this is Taylor. And they'll have 1st and goal. He is down inside the 10-yard line.
And we're starting to see the fruits of their labor paying off here. I mean, they've used this run game to throw a bunch of body blows throughout the entire contest. And while some of the carries didn't result in much at the time, it's clear they're starting to take its toll on this defense.
They'll run here with Taylor. This time the sledding becomes a little more difficult. They're going to stop him right at the line of scrimmage. On 2nd down, Richardson. He pulls it in around the 5. And they'll get about 4 out of this one. Run after the catch. Hard to come by down here. Here comes 3rd and goal. So it is a win for the visiting Broncos. They get the victory here, away from home, to run their early season record to 2-0. So that'll just about do it for Greg Olson and our entire team. I'm Mike Tirico. You've been watching the NFL on EA Sports. For more, log on to easports.com. So long, everybody.